it's pretty safe to say. God give it, God take it away. It's the worldwide American way. I'm living.
What's going on, team? Proof here, and today I'm coming at you with the next recruit report. And over the weekend, there was a new card revealed for Spikes. I can't remember exactly where it was, but it's been confirmed as being an actual card, and its name is Fake Bomber. And he's a grade 1 7K with charge, and his ability says if this unit is charging, this unit gets plus 5,000 power, and auto rear guard is a red text ability. GB1 Soul Blast 2. When this unit boosts, if you have a Vanguard with Rising in its card name, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose a card from your hand, call to an open rearguard circle, and countercharge 1. So this card was the most difficult for me to judge, and I saw it on Saturday, and I didn't come to a full consensus about it until late yesterday. So this is the most I've thought on the card on and off before I put up a video that I can recall. Definitely the most thought-provoking and interesting card so far that's come out, in my opinion. And the first thing that you notice is that the power boost is not conditional, if that makes sense. He just needs to be charging, but you don't need to do anything else to get the power boost besides him being charging. And the power boost is not restricted to him being a booster, so you can attack with him being a 12K attacker as well. But then the rest of it is boost related, so that's a nice little flexibility option that you have there. And it's in that weird middle ground between Mood Maker, Neon Rook, and Air Force Eliza, because it can attack with power like Mood Maker, but it can give you an extra call and an attacker similar to how Eliza can function for us. And it's cool in that regard, but it also makes it a dynamic card because it's not very straightforward in what it can do. So what I did was that I kind of thought about it in the context of all of our stride options and tried to make sense of where it would fall into place for us. So I'm just going to go through like each stride in general real quick, just to go through some of the ideas that I had in mind. So the first one I obviously went to was Agrius, the new stride that came out for us with the ability to give us a draw and for the counter blast cost. And this card kind of gives you a cool little flex option because you can use him to get Mega Trainer out the way. And well, first of all, you can call him off of Great Star skill to put him in the charge, and then you can use him. Then you can use Mega Trainer to get him out the way, and then you can boost and get another. You get a 21K plus attacker out of Fake Bomber to then get the counter blast back, so you can use Agrius to get the draw back. So you get the card back into your hand. So it's like it's a weird little net even. Maybe it's a plus in there because you force more shield out of your opponent, but it allows you the flexibility to function off of 2 counter blasts, because this is where you would want to use such a skill when you're limited in your counter blast resources. You can use it to get your Mega Trainer out the way so he's not stuck around on the board, and you get the use out of him that you want to, so you can filter your deck out for like your PGs or your G guards or Frog Raider, like a little necessary piece that you need, while still being able to get the use out of Agrius so you can get the draw and then the recall back as well. Conversely, you can also search him off of Mecha if you have the ability to, if he's still there, if you use him as your starting Vanguard. You can use Mega Trainer to search out Fake Bomber so that when you bind them with Agrius and call them back, you can get the counter blast back while getting the call as well. So that way you can set up your next play. So just in case you're thinking your opponent might hold you on X amount of damage, you can get that counter charge back, so that way you can have that resource available to you, which might be relevant for certain clans, especially with Mega Colony getting Gridora upcoming. So it's a cool flex option with Agrius to be able to utilize the resources available to you. And with Picaro, you're able to get a nice multi-attack option out of him. The Soul Blast cost isn't that terrible in terms of Picaro, because with Great Star, with Picaro, with your Soul Charging triggers, the Cheetah, because with the means to keep Soul flowing throughout the course of the game, you should be reliably able to pay the Soul Blast 2 costs. You can play the 2, get the call in, get the counter charge back, so that way when you go into your next turn, you can likely have a secondary follow-up Picaro or secondary follow-up Agrius, or maybe if you somehow find your way into Miracle Ace or something like that. So you keep that flexibility open so you don't starve yourself on your counterblast resources, because everything that we use more or less requires a counterblast cost. So it's nice to have this option here to get the counterblast back that's not in the form of Double Watch. And that's another thing that I thought about was, does this replace Double Watch in the context of our deck and how it would fit in the context of our deck? And well, I'll come to that in a little bit. With Hellhard 8, he doesn't have a lot of synergy for his boost ability, mostly because the only booster you really want to have available is Frog Raider. But since this guy is a 12k attacker while still charging, you can give him the boost from Hellhard 8 and he can attack for 22,000 as opposed to a 7k, so it can hit for a better number in the context of that turn, which is relevant for like the Kageros of the world, the Narakamis of the world, Link Joker, stuff that can interfere with our back row. We can still keep pushing numbers along the way. For Miracle Ace, similar to Hellhard 8, there's not a lot of synergy there, just because Fake Bomber kind of operates as a mini Miracle Ace earlier in the game, so that Soul Blast 2 cost interferes with him later in the game. So besides, so again, you don't have the use of him as a booster for Miracle Ace, but he still makes a 12k attacker as well going into it. And I would still use Fake Bomber even though you have Miracle Ace, just because if you see yourself planning for Miracle Ace, you can just as simply forego using Fake Bomber's skill throughout the course of the game and keep that soul available for Miracle Ace. So the next thing I thought about that I kind of alluded to was, does this card replace Double Watch, or does it replace the need for Double Watch? Because if you know me, and if you notice me, or if you follow me into my Discord server, I've been trying to find a way to get Double Watch out of my G-Zone since it came out in 2015 or 2016. And I've been waiting, y'all. And in my testing, I've kind of noticed that the ability to get the counter charge back in exchange for the soul, since we have all the means to keep soul going into or the way to refill soul under our Vanguard, I do believe this has the ability to replace Double Watch, so we can go back to like a 6-6-4 lineup, or some type of maybe 8 crit 4 draw, something like that, just a way to get the stands out of our deck, because they're so awkward with our keyword that I just don't want to be able to, I want to have the flexibility to know that I can get Double Watch out the deck and not regret it later. Because no matter what, I always find myself coming back to Double Watch just because the soul charge that it has been so beneficial along with the counter charge. But with my expectation of a draw trigger that can go into the soul, we can most likely have the means of having all 16 triggers fill up the soul for us. So that means we might not have the need for Double Watch anymore while still having the ability to get the counter charge back. Before I forget, he also helps us play around disruptive G Guardians, because say we're in a situation where we have column A with Frog Raider and then column B with Fake Bomber, and we attack with a charging unit in column A with Frog Raider, and they get rid of it with Denial Griffin or Head Around, or not Head Around, but like something that can get rid of the attacker for us, and our opponent thinks they're safe, we can have Fake Bomber boost, and then they can call out another card for us. That way we can still retain that extra attack, but then on top of that, they've used their G guard in the process. So it kind of help us push through in the latter portion of the game, like get us 4 attacks or more on a Picaro turn, get us 4 or 5 attacks on an Agrius turn. It opens up a lot of potential for combo plays in the future, especially as it keeps supporting mechanics like this that are more fluid as opposed to more the combo big turn play, because you can use them in conjunction with one another depending on your matchup that you have. So I feel this kind of falls into a nice little niche category, but also being one that I think it can feel well to put itself in that tech spot over the likes of Eliza, the Mood Maker, maybe a Tier if you're still playing, if the Crazy 8 deck is what ends up being the deck to go to competitively. And I really like it. It took me a while to come to the conclusion, but as I play tested it over the weekend and kind of saw that it kind of forces your opponent into a predicament of what to guard and what not to guard, as opposed because they don't know what's in your hand exactly. Like I played against Kuro using Messiah, and he was kind of in that weird spot to where he felt compelled to use his Lacus Karina to lock down my fake bomber so I couldn't use it against him. And just things like that, just think about kind of, it's a pressure unit that makes your opponent feel pressured. It puts them in a weird situation, and those are things we kind of look for when we're playing spikes to get that edge on somebody. Hope that helps. Hope you enjoyed. Really cool card. I can't wait for more. Hopefully Bushiroad keeps giving us all this good stuff, because these are all still commons for the most part. So I can't wait for more of the rares and the triple rare to come out. So hope you enjoyed. Look out for more. And until next time, peace. Be easy.